US says drivers to make $170,000 in pay and benefits following union deal. Welcome back to the trading floor. I'm Tom and I'm joined with Joel, and today we are talking about this new exciting story from UPS. Joel, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, service level is a good thing because, I mean, look at the drivers. They're getting $170,000 in pay, and that's an insane amount for doing deliveries. Is it a good business decision? We're going to have to, look at that and see if it is, because they do have quite a few drivers, and I'll check how many drivers they have, because that will eat into a large part of their money. But surface level, in a time where people aren't earning, well, people are still earning an alright amount of money, but in a time where things are going up in price, things are becoming more expensive, a pay increase like this is insanely good. So on surface level, it looks great. The main problem, and for the employees, it's brilliant. The main thing that we have to look into is, will this harm the company? And if so, how will it harm the company? But also, how will this benefit the company? Because this doesn't just benefit the employees, but it can benefit the company. A lot of people base their decisions to use a company based on how their employees are treated. So, Tom, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think it's important to, with any title like this or any headline, is to break down what's been said and I guess the potential differences. So to go into it a little bit more, it says that obviously it's an average of $170,000 in annual pay and benefits at the end of a 5-year contract agreement. So it's not like if you're just joining, suddenly everyone's going to be earning this. It's after a certain period of time. There's more than 70% of UPS employees that are represented by a union, so that could potentially have some impact on why they've decided to do this. If there's more power within the employees, that could have caused something. I think the key point to mention is that it's increasing from approximately 145,000 over 5 years to the 170,000, so quite a fair amount of difference. But also the point that they're boosting part-time worker salaries to at least $75 an hour and end mandatory overtime, which is quite a good benefit as a whole. Obviously there's significant economic impact for the employer. They're going to be paying a lot more money, but is this going to help from a brand reputation recognition perspective? Is it going to increase employee motivation, increase sales and efficiency and all of those different things within the company?
Yeah. Well, is it just me? I don't know if delivery works different in the UK, but I would never have thought a UK delivery driver to make anywhere near 100,000 in the UK. Is America different with deliveries? Are they a lot more liquid? Are their delivery services more liquid and have more money and take in more money? Because I'm actually not sure about this. Because if I were to guess the salary of a delivery driver, I'd guess it to be anywhere between 20 and 40,000 a year. So 170, I understand there's conversion rates and stuff, but even after the conversion rates, $170,000 seems like a lot of money. Do you know anything about this, Tom? Because I'm a bit stumped on it.
I don't know anything specifically about how much delivery drivers get paid in America, unfortunately. But yeah, I'm inclined to agree. I mean, even the article itself, it says that places UPS drivers near the same pay grade as things like software developers, finance directors, physician assistants, who all earn between $108,000 and $115,000. That's a lot of money. If they're also receiving $50,000 in benefits, like health benefits, pension benefits, welfare, all other employee-related benefits, things potentially. Yeah, I think the other important thing to take into consideration as well for those $50,000 in benefits, they could potentially be salary sacrificed, so that it's net of tax, so they're potentially gaining benefits where they don't actually have to pay tax on all of their income because it's taken off before. So there's that aspect, but it's a lot of money that they're getting paid. If they only work, I say only, if they're working 8 hours a day, or if they're working 5 days a week, that's 40-hour work week. It's a lot of hours, but at the same time, if they're being paid $49 on average an hour for a full-time UPS delivery driver, that is a lot of money an hour to be a delivery driver. I don't think there's anywhere near like that here. I think it's an important thing to potentially compare it to things like Deliveroo and Uber Eats. Obviously, it's a completely different style of delivery and different customers in terms of which businesses use the platforms, but there's no way that an Uber driver Uber Eats delivery driver would get paid $49 an hour. Like, surely
Oh
not.
yeah, definitely not. You know, I rode for Uber Eats for like a month, I think, like over a year ago now, and I probably earned, I don't know, maybe £10 an hour, and I did it on a bike, and I was so tired. But 170k is an insane amount of money for what I can imagine is a pretty hard job for, you know, doing an 8-hour day, 5 days a week of just non-stop deliveries and driving about. But if you really break it down, it is quite a chill job. You know, going to the depot every morning and driving, put a podcast on all day, and you can just kind of chill for the day and make deliveries and have a great salary. I think it's a brilliant job for a great salary that I would have always thought would kind of be like a starter job for people. But this, a salary like this is like an end game job. You know, this is the type of money that you could be like, right, I am a family now with this money. So,
Yeah,
I mean, fair play to UPS.
I don't necessarily think it is fair play to UPS though, because by the sounds of it, it was because of a strike or potential threatening of a strike action from their union, the Teamsters Union, which have negotiated a deal with UPS to say you should increase the annual earnings because otherwise 340,000 employees are going to leave or are going to go on strike, which means obviously they would not be able to deliver their parcels, not meet customer expectations and things like that.
Yeah,
I
is
think-
this sustainable though? Can UPS keep up this salary? Or in 10 years' time, is this salary, for as long as inflation doesn't increase too much, will this salary begin to start coming down a bit? Because it is a huge amount of money to give to each employee.
Yeah, it's a significant increase as well. You know, £25,000 a year increase from what it was previously. Well, based on the estimates on this article, that's quite a lot of money. I don't know when the last time they received a pay raise, or I guess they're trying to just make it in line with inflation. But it's a lot of money. But I think it depends on, like you said, whether it's sustainable for the business to do that or not. I think it depends on, obviously, as a delivery company, they can't deliver their parcels without delivery drivers. Yeah, that's just basic economics of their business. But how much do they value, or how are they able to value their delivery drivers? Because, like you said, if they do this for, say, 3 years and it significantly decreases their net profit and they're not able to hire anyone else, or they potentially have to let people go, is it worth it in the long run for the employees or the company? And the employees are obviously asking for it though, so they're obviously
And will this
potentially
lead
not as happy as they could be.
Yeah, will this lead into possible redundancies of people being let go because the company can't afford to pay that many? They can maybe afford to pay 170k, but not to every single employee. So we could see a reduction in how many people UPS are hiring, or even a reduction in their total number of employees. So it'll be interesting to see how over the next couple of weeks, months, and years this pay rise plays out for UPS, because it could go well, it could be great publicity for them. Maybe not on the investor side, maybe investors are a bit skeptical of this, but overall, when I looked online and I saw this article for the first time, and I looked in some of the comments, a lot of people were praising it, a lot of people were saying this is good. You know, a lot of people were skeptical, saying yeah, it's good they got a pay rise, but it's 170k for driving a lot of money that, you know, is sustainable for the business. I imagine, like I said a couple minutes ago, the investor side of people are saying this is going to drastically increase maybe shipping costs, if you know, and that could hurt the business, because if maybe, for example, you order something from a website and you have 3 options and you can either get it delivered through DPD or UPS or Royal Mail if you're in the UK, and then people see that the UPS one is 2-3 times more cost, then a majority of people are just going to be like, well, you know, go with the cheaper one. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out over the next X amount of time. But Tom, do you have any final thoughts on this topic?
I think the important thing to note is the 50% of people that searched to become a UPS delivery driver after it was announced. I think, if they saw the pay announcement and thought, okay, well, I want to become a UPS delivery driver, which I think is a good sign, because it shows that people will want to work for the company, but then on the same aspect, they could have looked at it, well, instead of increasing the pay rise, why don't we just hire people? Because a lot of people would be grateful to be hired at $145,000 a year after
Definitely.
5 years. I think, from our perspective, I think it'd be interesting to see how much UPS delivery drivers get paid in the UK and whether it's comparable to that at all, because then that will give us I guess, a more of a point to say, is it similar to it at all, or is it mainly a US thing? But I think it would just be interesting to see how it pans out for the company, the employees, and it's potentially a good sign that other companies may decide to follow as well.
Yeah, I also wonder, is this a fixed number, or does this range between state to state? Because if you think about it, if you're in New York, 170,000 is a good amount of money, but you're going to be spending a large part of that on rent and food. So you're not going to have a lot left over if you're in maybe LA or New York.
Yeah, I mean, it says it's average. So
okay, yeah. So it may vary state to state if you live in a state. Yeah, because if you live in a state with lower living costs, lower cheaper food, cheaper rent, then you may be earning less than that, is what we're gathering from that 170 cases it's saying on average. But overall, for the employees, it's a good increase. For the investors, they're probably a bit skeptical. So yeah, we'll have to see how this plays out over the next couple of years. Thank you everyone for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video.